It started, as in why I started. You've ever heard of a Welsh singer-songwriter called Martin Joseph?
He wrote. He had
a low chart hit single called "When Dolphins Make Me Cry." About 93, 94, I think. And me and my wife went to see him, and the second wife went to see him in the Norwich Arts Centre. Now, I'd never played guitar, never ever had any pretensions to go out there and perform or do anything. And I happened to watch him, and I thought, bloody hell, that's really lovely. It's beautiful watching somebody to be able to do something like that. So I went home. Now, my wife is the sweetest person in the whole world. I can say something like that right now, and I won't think about it again. It won't even enter my head. About 4 or 5 weeks after that gig, I came home. She booked me guitar lessons for Valentine's Day.
Oh.
So we couldn't afford a lot. So I had about half a dozen guitar lessons, and I'll be honest, I wasn't very good. I was really crap. It took ages to learn. I think it took me 4 weeks to get A, D, and E. I was that slow.
Sorry.
But so you need everybody who picks up the guitar. I don't think there's any one person out there, and it depends how much you do it.
Yeah.
When I first started learning, I was literally every day, hours and hours and hours and hours and hours every day. It took me like over a year to master bar chords.
Oh, I still can't.
I struggle with them now. So it depends how much you practice as to how much you get back out of it, how much reward you get from it.
For me, the disadvantage was at that time I was 36, so my fingers were already set. I'd already realised they were too short, and I couldn't flipping reach big. How like you guys can go up and down the fretboard and 5 frets in a span. Me, I'm lucky if I can stretch to 4.
Yeah, but you've got nice manly hands. I've got spindly, good.
Yeah, he's got
listen, trust me. Look at those fingers. They are child's fingers.
They are massive.
It's a nightmare for guitar. It is. It's an absolute nightmare. But anyway,
it's the fat end.
You're never going to get through the questions.
Oh, I'm sorry. But if I do waffle, just stop me, because I know I do.
No. It's great.
And my wife will soon just tell him to shut up.
No.
We can edit a lot of stuff out, so don't worry about that.
Yeah, we've cut it down to about 5 minutes, man.
I'm not editing anything. It's all going in.
Was he here?
It's all going in.
So I had these guitar lessons. As I say, it took me a month just to get these 3 chords off, but I did get hooked. Now, obviously, I think I was working about 12 hours a day then, so I didn't have as much time to practice as I wanted. Then I changed my job and got a little bit more time, and I started to get somewhere. I started to get more chords, started to get smoother. And the first person who actually said, well, you can play guitar, why don't you come and join our band? It was all instrumentals, like Shadows and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And the weirdest thing happened after, I'd been playing with them for 3 or 4 months, and I was watching a TV programme, and this is absolutely true. Never written poetry, never done anything like that at all. And I'd watched this programme, and it was about a guy called Stefan Kisko, and he'd been jailed for a murder he didn't commit. And then when he came out, he killed himself. I'm sorry, that's really depressing. This is what happened. And it really stuck in my head. Now, things like that really do resonate with me. And for some bizarre reason, even my wife couldn't tell you why I did it, I started to write stuff down. And it was like I just had to write it out, and that was like the first song, and then it just like snowballed from there. I just couldn't stop. And even today, some people have said to me, "Why do you do it? You're not successful. You don't sell anything. Nobody really follows you. So why do you do it?" I can't help. And I hate to say this, but there's 1 or 2 family members who've done it. But there you go. But at the end of the day, I can't help it. It's not something I consciously do.
You just have the need to write something.
That's how Mind the Gap came about. I read a story on the BBC web pages, and it was like, I'm a sentimental twat. And it's like, bang, I have to do that. I have to write that.
Yeah. But do you have an idea first? Does the melody come first? Does a riff come first, or just like a general concept?
It can be anything. It can be anything. Literally, I was sat there, knew there was a song I did about a friend, well, not a friend, an acquaintance I knew who was, he was really, really rich. There is a point to this, by the way. He was really, really rich. That sounds like I'm going off on a tangent, but really rich.
We can edit the long-windedness out of it, yeah.
Stop saying the words going to be long-winded. Stop it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The next one's going to have to wait. But no, so this guy, he came home and he found his wife in bed with another man. And this was a really rich guy, and his life literally collapsed like that. He ended up on the street. And I'm just noodling away on my guitar with this story around my head, because I'd only seen it at lunchtime in a pub, and he was absolutely plastered in the corner of the pub. And the song just came straight out, literally 5-6 minutes, the whole thing. It's a song called I Don't Know, and it still is one of those songs that I'm proudest of lyrically. And that's just what happened. Some bizarre reason, it's
yeah.
there, but it never was before.
Mm.
You know, it took me, what was my, I think 40, I think I recorded my first, 39, 40, I think I recorded my first album, and I just don't know why. I don't know where it came from.